Husband abandoned our family for a barely legal affair, missed our daughter's recital, and now he's drowning in misery while I rebuild our lives. I, 32F, was married to Cam, 34 male, for 6 years and together for 16 years in total, and we also share a daughter, Mia, 4F. A bit of background, I was a SOM and he worked, but I noticed he was coming home late. He started getting angry a lot, also always on his phone, and to mention I had caught him looking at this girl's Instagram story before, but I didn't think anything of it. Shortly after that I found out he was cheating on me with Sky, now 19F, yeah, barely legal. When I found out, obviously I was hurt, but I was also completely disgusted that he was cheating and willing to ruin our family for her. I became a SOM when my daughter was born, and we made an agreement that he was in charge of our money and he would just give me his card to use when if I needed to buy anything. I wasn't making any income except for the money I had before having our daughter, which I kept in my bank account, and I saved it for emergencies. I felt stuck because I didn't know what to do, and for my daughter's sake I didn't end up leaving up. I had got suspicious and I went to look for the girl through his followings on Facebook and Instagram. I ended up finding the girl's story. He was looking up Instagram and I just made an assumption that it might have been her, and I shot her a DM. Long story short, she was rude as hell. She had zero remorse and kept on telling me to bother my husband who cheated instead of bothering her. She was aware he had a wife and family but didn't care, and even told me that he was paying her tuition. I ended up getting mad and telling her to stay away from my husband, but she just told me she would keep going and it was just fun. After that I guess she told my husband, and I think he realized that I wasn't leaving. He literally would leave his location on even when he went to her college campus, which really pissed me off because I couldn't see how he was really ruining all we had for some girl who isn't even serious about him and also not even fucking legal to drink yet. Our daughter, Mia, attends ballet and they had a performance. This is what really was my breaking point, because our child should always come first. He was out all night long that Friday and on Saturday was the recital, and obviously he needed to be there for Mia's first recital. I gave him until 11 p.m. then I finally called him, and guess who picked up the phone? Sky. She told me that he was busy and then hung up, and that was my breaking point. I quickly packed some of mine and Mia's stuff up and I woke her up so we could go to my mom's house, who didn't live far. So we ended up crashing the night there, as I didn't want him to come back home to us, nor did I want to see him when I woke up. That was a year ago. Now, we're divorced and I have full custody of Mia while he has visitation rights. I got a job, saved up, and now in an apartment, and while it's not the best, it's good for me and Mia for the time being. Anyways, after the divorce they ended up getting together for a couple of months. While they were together he was visiting Mia, but not as often, I'd say like twice a month. To nobody's surprise she ended up leaving him after a couple of months, but this is where I may be the asshole. Ever since they've broken up he's been depressed. He drinks a lot, he doesn't eat much, he's always sulking on the couch and just not himself. He comes over more often to see Mia, which is why I know this and I feel away. He's all depressed because she left but didn't have this energy when we divorced after being together for 16 years. When we divorced he didn't seem to care at all, he was just nonchalant about it and kept messing around with Sky, but now that this girl you were barely with left you, you're depressed. I know he's going through it, but I can't help but feel a certain way about this. Ida for being upset that my ex-husband didn't take our divorce the way he took his recent breakup. Update 1. I had a busy morning, especially with a 4-year-old who attends preschool and also hates getting up in the morning. A bit of background about their relationship, at least the stuff I know. The divorce happened last year, so at the time Sky was 18. I clarified this in the comments, but I'm gonna say it again. Cam was the one who offered Sky to pay her tuition, and I think he did that to keep her around. After I found out about the divorce he would come home angry. He would call her names and was mad because she was seeing other guys in college and posting herself going to parties. I don't know how long their affair was. All I know is how they met, at least this is what he told me. Cam told me that they met at a club and he thought Sky was older, but then she later told him it was a fake ID. Now I don't believe he thought that one bit. Sky screams teenager, I could tell by just one peek at her Instagram. She looks super young, she dresses like a teenager, she has braces with a very youthful, and she types/acts just like her age. Cam has visitation rights and he comes over to see Mia, which I'm gonna make arrangements to change that. When he comes over you could just feel the negative energy coming in with him by his attitude and the way he looks. While Mia is occupied, that's when he vents to me about Sky, which I don't know why the hell he does. I will admit I'm stupid as I don't say anything, I just let him talk. I pretty much ignore him when he's here like he doesn't exist, while he would just vent randomly. But let me tell you guys what just happened, and I'm literally so pissed. My baby gets out of preschool at 2:30, usually my mom would pick her up, but I got to leave early, and her ballet practice is at 4 p.m. While during the ballet practice you could either leave your kid there or you can stay in the practice with them. One of my closet girlfriend's daughter also attends the class and I needed to get groceries for our meals. So with her permission I left out for a bit. My guess is that Cam gave Sky my number because I genuinely don't see how else she could get it. Anyways, long story short, she has read it and she came across my post and was pissed about it. Guys, no joke, this little girl and her friends was spamming my phone with calls. She would call me and say horrible things, and then next I would get another call from somebody else who would say other stuff. This happened about 7 times. The two first times, admittedly I went back and forth, but as it kept going I finally got the hint they were playing with my phone, so I started recording and just let them yell and insult. I knew they were all together because when Sky called first I could hear other girls giggling or saying slick shit in the background. I didn't get the whole thing on recording because it came out of the blue, so I only got the last few. If I was to file a harassment report about this, would it be valid or not? I blocked them and threatened to call the cops the last time and they stopped, but seriously, this is childish as f. Update 2. Hi everybody, I posted on here 2 weeks ago about my situation with my ex-husband. I also posted about how Sky and her friends called my phone repeatedly. Firstly, I do want to say thank you to everybody who gave me ideas of what to do about the situation, and I especially want to thank the people who messaged me privately to help me get over this. I also unfortunately had pervs in my messages, and no, my daughter doesn't need a stepdad. On to the update, I ended up emailing Sky's school about the harassment. As I mentioned in the mini update, Sky has Reddit, so she took the college she attended out her Instagram bio, which she originally had. Sky, I know you're probably reading this, and unfortunately for you, dumbass, I didn't forget the school you attend. I emailed them about a day after my mini update along with photos of my call log, and they finally got back to me this past Monday. They didn't exactly tell me what they did, but to summarize it, they basically told me that they would take care of her and thank me for it. Obviously Sky learned her lesson as she didn't contact me at all. Unfortunately, me or my girlfriend couldn't find her parents. She doesn't have a Facebook, only an Instagram. She doesn't have much photos up, but the one she does up doesn't have anything of her family, just herself. On to my ex. Soon after my post I called him and I set boundaries. I told him if he wanted to see Mia, then it was to be done at his home or anywhere but my house. I told him that when it was time for him to come and get Mia, that I would just walk her to the car and that he has no permission to come inside my home. He didn't take it lightly. He fussed that he was allowed to go into the home that his daughter is in. I told him that there's no need for him to do that because if he wants to see her and only her, then me bringing her to the car wouldn't be a problem. After a while of fussing he did accept it eventually. Unfortunately I was stupid and I decided to try and pry my way into knowing a bit more about their past relationship and the affair. I don't believe that Sky told Cam about the post or anything, as I think he would have been mad or at least brought it up. Cam opened up a little bit and told me a bit more about their whole relationship. He told me that at first him and Sky were originally just hooking up. Before anything happened, Sky let him know that she didn't want a relationship as she wanted to live the college experience, and Cam didn't take it seriously. Eventually, she started talking to other guys and he would also see her following go up with other guys in it whenever she said she would go to an event. He tells me that he started paying Sky's because Sky said if he didn't then she would expose him. I'm not sure what he means by exposed, as he couldn't be talking about expose him to me, because he didn't even seem to give a fuck when he got caught. But Sky had told me that he's the one who offered to pay the tuition, so I don't know which one is telling the truth. He told me that he loved Sky but couldn't love her any longer because she was a gold-digging whore, even more confused because Sky literally broke up with him. He also said that Sky didn't listen and that she deserved everything he did to her because there's no reason she should be avoiding him. Mind you, I'm confused as hell. At first it seemed like he was trying to play victim, but immediately got off topic and really was just raging about Sky. I'm baffled because you were literally just crying over this girl? I ended up questioning him because it literally didn't make sense. He ended up yelling at me, telling me to shut the F up and other shit. Eventually, I just hung up the phone because I don't have time for that. Like a child, he blocked me. I ended up just talking to his mom. I asked if during Cam's time if I could just drop Mia off at her house, and if Cam wants to see Mia then he could visit. She's an amazing grandmother, so she accepted. I told her that he blocked me, which she was shocked and told me that she would talk to him about it. But that's the update currently. Hopefully Cam gets help because obviously the nut job needs it. I recently started working out and I even joined a dating app this past Saturday like some people requested I did, and good news. I matched with a ton of people. I will also share that I have been a bit down just thinking about my baby girl. I feel like I did wrong picking Cam as her father. I didn't have a good father growing up, so all I wanted was for my kids to have the dad I never had, and at first Cam was amazing, but now I don't know what's happening. I think it's a midlife crisis maybe? Update 3. So it started on a seemingly normal Thursday. Mia got her first little report card from preschool, complete with glitter stickers and a very serious note about how she might be oversharing snacks. Who knew sharing gummy bears would be a disciplinary issue? 4-year-olds, I was feeling pretty positive and even decided to go for a jog before picking her up. About halfway along the trail, a group text I'd long muted from my old high school friends, yes, the moms, you know the type, starts blowing up. Like 30 plus messages rapid fire. Turns out Cam had apparently posted a lengthy, melodramatic apology/explanation about the last year and a half on Facebook, tagging me, his mother, and, bizarrely, Sky. The gist: he rambled about being lost, mentioned the double-edged sword of youth, and, in my personal highlight, claimed he'd been bewitched by innocence and ambition. My friend Jackie screenshotted the part where he compared himself to a character at the crossroads in a French tragedy. Please imagine me snorting coffee out my nose. It didn't stop there. Suddenly, my Instagram gets followed by what at first I thought was a new spam bot account, Sky Truth Club, Sky's face, but artsy filters and some odd truth bombs. 5 posts in, I realize it's Sky herself, absolutely going off on her truth, and let's just say, subtlety is not her strength. She called Cam a walking red flag, accused him of stalking her, which, honestly, I can partly believe, and, wait for it, said his ex-wife could do so much better, she has major boss vibes. At first, this whole escalating mess made me want to crawl into bed and hide, especially since our community isn't that big and hot gossip travels. But then I checked my dating app, where I'd been chatting with a few tender, mostly unremarkable men, and found Cam had made a profile. I wish I could screenshot it for you. Every photo was at least 5 years old, and his bio included loyal family man looking for a second chance. No mention of Sky. No mention of his by-the-book ex-wife. Hi, me. But the kicker? One of his first matches was with Sky. She posted his message trying to start over as friends, maybe more, if possible on her alt Instagram, screen name and all. This led to the mother of all group chats, I'm talking me, Cam's mother, his sister, and 3 of my girlfriends, debating if this was sad or hilarious or both. Cam's mom, bless her, called me after and said, honey, you're officially free, that's all on him. She also started picking up Mia every Wednesday, which has been a huge relief. I have a little time to myself, and, apparently, Mia watches old school Disney movies with grandma and bakes cookies. But now, the real twist. About 3 days ago, Cam texted me from a new number saying he needed to see me for something important about Mia. Like an idiot, okay, a tired mom who is so over drama, I met him at a local family cafe. Mia was at her grandma's and I figured, fine, maybe this is a grown-up moment. No. Cam, looking gray and jumpy, tells me he's being investigated by Sky's college. Apparently, my, perfectly warranted, email set off a chain reaction. Sky filed her own complaint, accusing him of harassment, and he's gotten a letter from their disciplinary board. He then asks, dead serious, if I could write a letter on his behalf saying nothing happened between us prior to Sky's 18th birthday. At this point, my jaw is on the literal table. He admits, between sips of decaf, that Sky's now hinting, publicly, in Instagram comments, she wants to ruin his life for playing with hers. Reader, I did not write him a letter. I told him that as far as I was concerned, any mess with Sky was his to clean up, and that Mia comes first. Second, I made it clear, again, that I wanted all future communication to be strictly about our daughter and through text or his mother until he gets himself together. But that wasn't even the end. The next night, a stranger slid into my DMs, claiming to be Sky's new friend with benefits. She said maybe I should forgive Cam because he's just pathetic and lonely now, and then added that Sky wants you to know she's over both of you and hopes you choke on your own resentment. Their words, not mine. There may have been a lot of wine involved afterward. After all this, I did something I hadn't planned. I booked Mia and me a weekend beach cabin trip in June. Just us, sand, crafts, and new memories, no drama, no exes, no Reddit DMs. I'm also setting up a meeting with a counselor for myself, because all this craziness is like being stuck in a season finale cliffhanger, except with a 4-year-old and way too much reality. To wrap up, Cam's off reaping the tornadoes he sowed, Sky's trying to reinvent herself as a TikTok truth teller, and I'm learning that the higher up the drama goes, the more grateful I am to be boring. Mia's over here thriving with her ballet and jelly bracelets. I can't promise there won't be more insanity, but I finally feel like the main character of my own life, not just a side note in someone else's midlife crisis. Thank you all for your support, and for reminding me that my boundaries are valid, no matter how many Instagrams, thirsty texts, or French tragedies life tries to throw at me. Update 4. Since my last update, things got both 100% weirder and, somehow, 10% more stable for me and Mia. Silver lining here. Here's what you all missed while I was busy dodging digital drama grenades and making sure I remember what peace feels like. First, let's start with the wildest development. Cam's investigation at Sky's college has taken on a life of its own. At first, I thought he was exaggerating for sympathy, as is his way, but about a week after our cafe showdown, I got a letter, yes, an actual stamped envelope, from the college's Office of Student Conduct. Apparently, since Sky mentioned in her complaint that I'd also contacted the college, they wanted to hear from me too. Sigh. I scheduled a brief phone call with a very tired-sounding administrator, just to confirm our timelines and that I had zero interest in playing Nancy Drew with anybody's undergrad drama. Here's the hilarious part, the administrator thanked me, no joke, for helping resolve a complex interpersonal matter and then added, we've instructed both parties to cease contact and focus on their academic progress. She sounded about 1 coffee away from a nervous breakdown. I hung up both relieved and a tiny bit vindicated. But the drama gods were not done with Cam. Oh, no. Apparently, his other new dating profile, yes, he made a second one, this time on Silver Single, was flagged for suspicious activity after he put his old work email in his contact info. Human resources at his company got wind, cue another messy confrontation, and now he's on leave to address personal issues. His mother is livid and has stopped defending him to anyone, which frankly is kind of a relief. She's thrown herself into grandmothering like it's an Olympic sport. Mia now has a new rotation of pancakes, gardening, and learning to crochet. It's wholesome in a way my life never used to be. Meanwhile, Sky's Truth Club has self-destructed. Some bored postgrads from her college found the account and started a meme thread, dubbing her and Cam the plot twist couple and using their drama as a warning for first-year students. I wish I could show you the photoshopped images of Cam's face on The Bachelor, or the TikTok set to Taylor Swift's I Forgot That You Existed. It sounds cruel, but they honestly made me giggle for the first time in ages. Even my mother, who only discovered what a meme is last month, forwarded me her favorite. And then, out of nowhere, Sky's friend with benefits DM'd again, this time apologizing, telling me Sky's been spiraling, and hinting that she's transferred schools. I'm not sure what's true, but the Instagram account went dark. Insert huge sigh of relief. Back in real life, Mia had her spring ballet performance last week, and honestly, it was the first time in ages I felt like I wasn't being observed, or whispered about. She absolutely beamed on stage, yes, even refusing to let go of her plastic tiara the entire time. Cam wasn't there. His mother brought Mia a giant bouquet and filmed the whole thing. Afterward, when we FaceTimed Cam with Mia so she could show off her costume, he was subdued but genuinely kind to her. Maybe, rock bottom is starting to teach him about humility. Now to the part of the update I'm most excited about, because it's about me and not the exes. I've been seeing someone. Yes, an actual adult who does not have a secret Instagram, a midlife crisis, or a penchant for college drama. His name is Derek, a single dad of 2 girls, ages 6 and 9, hence, he understands the snack negotiations and glitter on everything. We met via the dating app after he messaged about how his daughter insists socks are a scam invented by grown-ups. We started with meetups at the playground, but after a month, we grabbed dinner alone, no disasters, no forced small talk, just laughter. He listens, which, after years with Cam, feels like a superpower. We're taking it at a child-friendly pace with no introductions yet, but for the first time, I feel excited at the possibility of adult companionship that isn't wrapped in chaos. I've also started seeing a therapist, shout out to my mother's amazing cookie bribes for Mia during sessions, and it's been transformative. My self-worth, shockingly, isn't tied to someone else's disasters anymore. My new motto, less drama, more joy. So, where are we now? Cam's in exile, Sky's moved on, or at least, moved elsewhere, and my circle feels smaller but safer. Mia is thriving. I'm healing, learning to trust myself, and occasionally, miracle of miracles, enjoying life. The social media mayhem has dried up, though I keep my phone on Do Not Disturb just in case, and I no longer feel like a side character in the Cam and Sky show. Honestly, we're doing okay. Maybe even better than okay. I can't predict what fresh nonsense might roll down the road next. But I know this, whatever it is, Mia and I will handle it, preferably with our feet in the sand and a glitter tiara, not in a circus tent. Thanks, again, internet strangers. Your advice, roasting, and encouragement helped me see how much of this mess wasn't mine to own. Here's hoping the next update is just about ballet recitals and badly iced cupcakes, not Facebook tragedies. Update 5 okay, so I guess no news is boring news in my life. I haven't posted for almost a month because, brace yourselves, there was actually a spell where things were calm. Not storybook calm, but functional, grown-up, single mom calm. Mia and I had our beach weekend. She discovered a deep love for seashells, peanut butter and jelly with sand, and a gaggle of seagulls that apparently found her crumbs spellbinding. My therapist thinks I'm graduating to actually enjoying the mental white space, and Derek and I have leveled up to movie night with accidental hand-holding. I was suspiciously waiting for the next digital grenade. It launched last Tuesday, on the day of Mia's summer playdate swap at the Children's Museum. My phone pinged. Then pinged again. And again, in rapid succession, all from unknown numbers and hidden Instagram accounts with names like TrutherGirls123 and Justice for Sky. In the most surreal turn yet, Sky, yes, actual Sky, or someone with her login, apparently authored a half-hour confessional podcast episode on her new girlboss TikTok. I swear I wish I was kidding, outlining my side of the drama complete with overblown details about Cam, a high-control ex-wife, and how she's reclaiming the narrative as a future influencer. Imagine my shock to learn she's become a minor spectacle among trainwreck-watching college students and, astonishingly, has a GoFundMe for her tuition after trauma. I'm not even touching that. Turns out, Cam's name pops up again. She accused him of continuing attempts at contact. He apparently tried to DM her from 3 different accounts, and the college ended up escalating their mutual cease contact order to include threats of disciplinary action if they didn't both let it drop. Apparently, the incident landed on a student meme page, as this week's midlife crisis segment, bringing me the weirdest sense of schadenfreude. It's not just me, apparently, everyone finds this circus exhausting. But then I got a much more serious call. Her college's conduct office reached out to me again, not to grill me, thankfully, but to ask if I would be willing to provide a neutral impact statement, since I'd filed the original concern as a third party. They reassured me that my name and Mia's would stay out of it, but apparently the story had gotten so convoluted that they needed real adult context. I agreed to a strictly confidential Zoom call. No one had to see the pile of plastic tiaras on my couch. I basically reiterated, my only concern was Mia's safety and that Sky and Cam's drama was not my circus. The college rep actually thanked me for being the calmest person involved this year. My therapist would be so proud. Meanwhile, Cam's spiral reached a new milestone. His mother called, uncharacteristically blunt, and told me the HR drama at his job finally ended. The company placed him on unpaid leave pending evaluation. She said he'd been crashing at her house, picking up Mia only when scheduled, and exuding a cloud of self-pity so dense it could block satellite signals. Yet, for the first time ever, he asked his mom to help him find a counselor. Whether this is sincere insight or damage control remains to be seen, but hey, stranger things have happened. Mia, lovely and so blissfully unscathed by her parents' insane past year, spent all of this week practicing her big girl reading, wearing sunglasses and spa headbands as if this is normal. When Cam came for visitation, he sat outside with her and, to my surprise, talked about responsibility and mistakes. When I peeked through the window, the conversation looked more like she told him about a unicorn princess and a jellybean volcano, but still, progress? And then, full circle, somehow, Sky herself wrote to me. Not a troll account, but her personal, albeit new, Instagram. She apologized for everything she put me through, said she was ashamed of the prank calls, and, most interestingly, admitted she should never have let Cam bankroll anything. She said she's moving out of town, starting over, and, I kid you not, hoping someday to have my SHT together. There was a selfie, minus any filters or clowning, almost normal. I did not respond, but I saved the message. It felt final, or as final as this mess ever could. The world did not end, and, miracle of miracles, this week, nothing else crazy happened. I took Mia and Derek's girls for ice cream at the carousel, and we laughed, and I felt, for a minute, like maybe life is quietly, sneakily, turning a corner. So, what's actually new? Sky's saga may be winding down. Cam is finally getting something like help. My daughter is overrun with glitter and jelly beans and knows nothing of online infamy, and I'm actually planning a Labor Day barbecue with a couple of the mom friends who once side-eyed my life and now just roll their eyes in solidarity. The worst of the fireworks are, I hope, behind us. But the biggest thing, for the first time since all this began, when the phone pings after bedtime, my heart doesn't leap into my throat. Drama might try to find me. This is real life, not a fairy tale, but for now, it's nothing I can't handle. And honestly, it feels good to say I'm grateful for the peace, and for every reader rooting for Mia and me. We got this. Update 6. If you'd told me 9 months ago that things would slow down, fade into a normal, quietly contented routine, I would have cackled in your face. But plot twist, calm isn't boring, calm is magic. Except, of course, when it's briefly interrupted by one of life's unexpected curveballs. Here's what actually happened since my last whirlwind update. Mia and Derek's girls have become a bona fide gang. They make up dance routines in my living room. There are more than a few temporary tattoos of questionable origin, and I now own a full arsenal of stain removal products because someone, naming no names, Mia, learned how to make slime. School's out, our big backyard paddling pool is the hot spot, and Auntie Jackie, my best friend / queen of chronically late coffee dates, has started her yearly campaign to get Mia into soccer. This one's an athlete, trust me. And then, always, right when you acclimate to peace, Kim pulled a move so left field I actually didn't see it coming. About 2 weeks ago, Cam's mom called to let me know he'd been in outpatient therapy for 3 weeks, and, shocker, he'd been encouraged to do a make amends step, which included writing letters to both Sky and me. His mom made it clear that I was in no way obligated to read it, but she thought it might be cathartic, or at the very least, extra motivation for your recycling bin. When Cam texted asking if I'd accept a letter, I told him yes, with some understandable hesitation. For the record, no surprise knock on the door was permitted, and there would be no reading it to me over the phone. We've all learned, haven't we? I got the letter a few days later. It was complicated. There was the usual Cam self-pity, and a little too much midlife unraveling for my taste, but also a genuine apology for the pain he'd caused both Mia and me. He admitted he'd failed at being a partner, a parent, and a decent human, and acknowledged that his actions had hurt not just me but Mia's family as a whole. He thanked me for keeping Mia's world safe, for not blowing up her routines out of spite during the worst moments, and, most shocking, for building a better model for family, even after everything. He said therapy had shown him he couldn't just self-destruct in the fallout and expect someone else to pick up the pieces. Listen, I hadn't realized how much I'd needed to see that in black and white, even if accompanied by his familiar blend of cowardice and remorse. Derek saw me tear up at it, hugged me, and said, "Closure is like nap time for grown-ups, you need it way more than you want to admit." Sky, on the other hand, has truly ghosted the story for good. A mutual sent me a screen of her TikTok, where she announced she's leaving drama behind, going blonde, and going west. The only time I've heard her name lately was from a college friend's kid who recognized the ex from that wild meme saga last year. Apparently Sky's girlboss era gave way to yoga and dog walking videos, and honestly, power to her. She sent me a DM, final and very succinct, no hard feelings. Hope you and your kid are glittering out there. Confirmed, I left it on read. I am growing, and what about me? I agreed to join Mia and the whole girl gang at a summer camp family day. If you want to test your resilience, try to corral a hyper crew of small children through a field of face painting, petting zoos, and sunblock meltdowns. I discovered I'm braver than I thought, tried the rope course for exactly 12 seconds of glory before bowing out with dignity. Afterwards, Derek and I actually had a quiet talk about the next steps, meeting his parents, maybe a group camping weekend, and, dare I say it, introducing Mia to the idea of his girls being bonus sisters. Not yet, she's 4, and her idea of kinship still starts with whose crayons are these? But the thought is there, and it feels safe. Cam's been keeping his scheduled time with Mia at his mom's, and, to his credit, he's more switched on, less vacant. He updates me when following our plan, even shares small positives. Mia showed me how to twirl better, or we planted sunflowers. No rants about Sky, no vibes of old drama, just co-parenting in the most basic, healthy sense. His mom occasionally texts a photo from their garden, Mia grinning in muddy sneakers, and I realize so much healing happens in those ordinary, quiet moments. The biggest change? For the first time, I feel like the drama is truly over. I actually started writing again, nothing juicy, just a kid's book about a ballet bunny with a huge imagination, got promoted to assistant manager at my job, and have a whole shelf filled with lopsided cupcakes courtesy of Baker Mia. I'm not naive enough to think surprises will never come back, but I'm not afraid of them anymore. I finally learned what every exhausted, sparkling, barely holding it together mom in this circus world has learned. Chaos is fleeting, resilience is real, sometimes your midlife plot twist is just the prologue to something better. So is this closure? Maybe. But I hope future updates are boring, lost teeth, new pets, victory and glitter wars, and maybe, someday, a party where all the adults are laughing for the same, drama-free reason.